Hey guys, this is Cerebulum. We're looking at a Zeus game today. This is a dude I've been coaching a little bit. Uh, Cormac here. I know he's not very experienced on Zeus, and I know he's about 1.5k MMR. So I also know this is going to be a loss for him. So I just want to take a look at this replay and see if we can find out what went wrong. Let's just put it over to his perspective. If we can manage that. Here we are. He's gonna take the mid lane. Looks like a bottle rush. Pretty sensible on Zeus. Yeah, I like this first skill point, though. In principle, you should hold on to it. This is gonna be okay in most situations. If you wanna go for, like, if you get an opportunity for a kill early on, like fighting over the rune, the lightning bolt will probably be a lot better. But this shouldn't be, too bad.
30 seconds to battle.
Or I guess it might actually be better. Like if you actually manage to hit a clump of enemies, this will do more damage overall than the lightning bolt. And of course the invis side isn't very useful in this situation with no Ricky or anything. Let's see if these buttons work. They do, so let's just see what happens here. Looks like they're just gonna get the rune. Yeah, Winter Wyvern, put some damage into him. I'm gonna guess he doesn't get the best laning stage here. His camera work isn't too on point. Zeus has a horrible cast or attack animation, so it's very hard to hit last hits with it, and you pretty much have to use your spells a good lot. But then that's what Zeus is all about. Decent timing on the bottle. He's doing well overall. Always compare your last hits to the people you are playing against, because if you're beating them on the last hits, it's probably not that. That's keeping you back. Going for a 1-1-1 build here, I don't mind that at all. I think that's pretty good. We'll probably need it if the Shadow Fiend decides to try something. I think the bottle charge got cancelled by the creep there. That could have been avoided. Very nice securing the last hit there. So he's doing very well on the last hits so far, but he's also used a lot of mana. He's gonna max out his lightning bolt now, which I think is the right thing to do. Shadow Fiend's really not having a good time here, so he's crushing the lane so far. So my guess that it was the laning stage that was the problem is completely wrong. Looks like they got a bit of a trade there. The Spectre dying on the bot lane. It's like a Spectre Grizzleback lane. Yeah, that sounds like something Spectre would die in. So not much to it right now. Zeus continuing to dominate his lane here. We'll just see if this continues for a little bit while further. They're all the way up to the Shadow Fiend's tower. I wouldn't, suggest going for anything in that situation, especially not when you're already winning like this. The only way you're throwing this lane away is if you're, diving for kills for Zeus. Gotta pause. I'll just quickly skip over that. My new rig can fortunately handle these 8 times speeds without any weird stuff happening. We are right.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We're right back to the game. So good farm. Actually, very good farm at this point in the game. Go secure 2 last hits with that one. Missed that one. Shadow Fiend still is struggling. Like Shadow Fiend should not be here. He should be near the top by all means. The one thing is that the Centaur's getting more than he should. And they are consistently dominating that bottom lane. The bottom lane down there is really not doing well for them. The Spectre and the Bristleback being the absolute lowest. But with regard to those Zeus's play, like that is hard to say what he could be doing it better right now. Now, always a bit of a problem when to use your ult, especially in pop games. If you are with a stack or in a team, you will have the communication to call out when you need it. But Poppy is especially, when you're playing a low-level pop, people won't spend a lot of time communicating. And, stuff like this fight happening down here, if we look at it. Can I actually... Oh, right. This is still in. I hate this. Okay, so I have to free camera it, go down here. We see the Centaur is at 200 health. So now he could certainly just ult and kill him. But no one is communicating this to him. So the Centaur will actually die to the tower. So, okay, that would actually maybe have been a wasted ult. Will he die to the tower? No, he won't. Now the Zeus needs to ult. He's not gonna do, because no one's communicating it. If they are communicating it, it's just him dropping a barrel. We don't have everything like pings and stuff, but certainly like the biggest flaw so far is not throwing out your ult just to get a kill there. That's one of the fundamental. What was that? So that was a really random Shadow Fiend ult. That's 1.5k MMR for you. Oh, went in on a fight here. Looks like Bristleback kind of cleaned up before anything could happen. Shadow Fiend joins in. They end up going 2 for 1. So if it wasn't for the fact that the Zeus actually so far ahead, this would have been a good thing. Looks like, see, this is a pretty, it's paused right now, but this is a pretty ambiguous trade. You see that it becomes an XP swing slightly in favor of the Dire side, but the gold is very much in favor of the Radiant side. But for the Zeus, it's sort of bad, because you really don't want to die as a mid laner, and it's going to delay his items quite a bit. He's going to go for Aghanim Scepter, which is a common choice, a good choice on Zeus. You could maybe do something like, I know a high level friend of mine would often go for a Blink Dagger or some other mobility item instead, and that can work pretty well as well. Now there, let's just go back a little bit, because there's one thing about Zeus we haven't mentioned so far. So they kill off the Wyvern, goes in, there's the Shadow Fiend, hits him with both races, misses the third race. Now he invises, and let's just see Shadow Fiend. Okay, so it's not a Shadow Blade, of course. He's not gotten the farm for that. We see the Doom is actually caught up nicely in farm. Let's switch it over to the net worth for now. Yeah, this isn't so good. But if you think, he probably hasn't thought about that the Shadow Fiend could be invis here, because the Shadow Fiend just activated a glyph. But if he had vision on him, this ability, the Lightning Bolt, will actually reveal invisible units. It gives you true sight for a little bit, so he could just cast it right here, and then they would have had a good chance of just killing the Shadow Fiend, because the Shadow Fiend only has like 500 health. And of course, the Lightning Bolt deals 350. Minus 25%, that is, see, 375, that's about minus 100, slightly less than 100. So that's about 275 damage, let's say. 275 damage leaves the Shadow Fiend with 225 health and an Undying right here, who's got an active ultimate. He's gonna hit him with a decay now, I think, actually. Yeah, he is. And now, yeah, now this is just free kill if he actually just throws out his ability. But it doesn't. So, a big mistake again. I think Zeus is one of those guys you don't have to... He's spending a lot of time away from the mid lane right here. And on the one hand, they are losing the other lanes, so they should... It's not bad doing it. But on the other hand, with his ultimate, Zeus can contribute to fights just while farming the mid lane. So, I think just doing that would have been a good thing to do. Oh, the Shadow Fiend's gonna get a bit of a beating there from the lightning. Going too far forward here. 2 enemies. Zeus, of course. It's all about the damage. Doesn't have anything in regard to escape or stuns or anything. So, if he gets caught out like that, if you know there's 2 heroes there, there's no reason to go forward like that. And he just dies for no reason. Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So it looks like he thinks the mid lane is a lost cause now. He's gonna try to push out the top lane here, I guess.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
A little bit of harass there from the Winter Wyvern.
Top tower is under attack.
Skywave is a very potent combination with Zeus because of the Ancient Seal. Like, if he has leveled it, he has. So that's 35% extra magical damage, which is a lot. Like, quite a lot. Especially when you take into account this is already a huge amount, so... If you further debuff their magic resistance, it's gonna be just stupid good.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So he's just farming here. Looks like he's a bit concerned about his farming. He should be. They're all getting kind of crushed now. Because they lost all of their fights recently, more or less. The Doom is doing well on last hits. The Shadow Fiend's recuperated pretty nicely. The Zeus is the only one doing well on his team with regard to last hits. So it is unfortunately a bit of a situation with the Zeus actually not playing that badly. He's died 3 times. I think one of those at least could have been completely avoided. And I think he's been a bit too far forward, not very intentional about going forward alone. Here we are again, completely alone, no info on the side, and he just goes down easy, super easy. And that's one of the reasons why, if you have good reflexes, you can pick up a Blink Dagger and maybe make an escape there. Yeah. Bristleback, not very good at stopping a Centaur that absolutely will get away. Bristleback dies, probably doesn't have, he does nearly have maxed. Okay, that's odd. Now the Zeus ult should have maybe gone out there. No, okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Zeus ult not being put to very much use here. They have a very tanky team overall, I think. So it might be that, but you know, the silencer should have a bit of a problem tanking it at least. Picking up the Staff of Wizardry first, I think, is a mistake. You absolutely need all the HP you can get on Zeus, so you should probably pick up the point booster first if possible, else the Ogre Club. The extra attack damage or the mana, I don't think is too big of a deal. You have a bottle and mana boots, so go. Well, good use of ult there. Pick off the Shadow Fiend. They're still losing horribly, but at least you know he got the Shadow Fiend. So he's inching closer to his next item, but his item progression has really been bad. He started out very well, but he started fighting instead of farming very early. That's a typical new player thing. Bam! He's in for an easy kill there. And what you should probably do as Zeus is just farm up until your ult is off cooldown, look for a kill with that. If you can't get a kill, just you know, just look for a fight, and then you know use all your abilities to get him low and get him killed with the ulti. But if you can, just hang out in mid and capitalize on when they dive. Of course, his team got severely beaten, which isn't helping at all. But it's they have vision on him there, yeah. One thing he also hasn't done at all is try to look for wards with his lightning bolt. But then again, he should mind his farm. Like that is the biggest thing. Shadow Fiend running away. There we are. Nice ult. Don't go back this way, please. And he's dead. Maybe. He's dead. Oh. Yeah. So a mobility item picked up first in this game might have been very good. Spectre kind of, you know, wasting ult. That's what happens when you have a Spectre that's low farm. And this Spectre is both low farm and picked up a not very useful item. So far, like lifesteal on Spectre. Attack damage is pretty puny, so it's not a good first pickup. Usually people will go for either Vanguard or just a straight Radiance Rush, I think.
Radiant's bottom tower, Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
That was a good fight. Like pretty obvious they shouldn't have gone in there. The enemy, that is. And they just sort of get picked off, just killing an Undying for 3. Killing Undying really shouldn't be high on your list of things to do. Especially an Undying that's behind. Because he's like one of the tankiest heroes in the early game. Very, very hard to deal with. No reason to even try, honestly. So the silencer in this game is a bit awkward. Looks like he's gonna go for a refresher. So he's going for a straight up cookie cutter Aghanim refresher build. Which, you know, it's good if you don't know the hero. And it's just in general pretty potent, but Yeah, I still feel like a 4-staff might have been able to save him here at some point. Okay, they can definitely kill this Doom.
Pierce your soul.
Almost, but no cigar. They continue to chase.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And he's
attack.
dead. And they got the Wyvern. The Shadow Fiend got away. I don't know how big of a deal that is, but the Centaur pushes in the bot lane. Now he's alone. He's gonna get killed by the Shadow Fiend or the Doom.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah. So again, poor map awareness. You know, we are at 2x speed, so he should have just picked up on all his team moving and moved with them. He also isn't keeping a TP on him, which is a bad thing to do as Zeus, because you know, the lack of mobility, you just can't deal with it otherwise. So this Centaur is way too far forward. Nearly kills off the Skywrath there just with Blade Mail. Centaur, of course, one of the highest HP heroes in the game. Super good to get a Blade Mail on that guy. So let's take just a second here. Well, not a second, but a little bit longer to survey the items here. And as we see, the items here on the Radiant side really aren't that good. I don't like the Aghanims on the Skywrath. The main effect of it is to bring the cooldown of the yeah, pretty much just brings the cooldown of his ultimate down. But let's look at his mana pool. He's actually got a decent mana pool, 1400. So he might be able to get off 2 of these in a fight. Instead, like yeah, I don't think this is the best item to get for him. I think a 4-staff first would have been great, and then I think something like maybe just moving towards a straight int item, because you need something to give damage to your arcane bolt, and this is just giving 10 int, which is what it counts. So I think he should have got another item basically. This doesn't really help that much. There's a silencer. Much of the fight he's not going to be able to cast spells. There's a Doom. He's a good target for Doom. So, you know, maybe something else would have been great. The Spectre, again, as I mentioned, doesn't have super much. I like going for the Diffusal now rather than trying to force a very late Radiance. And I think once the Diffusal comes out, that could be very good for them. But they don't have it right now. The Undying, I think he's got a competent build. He's going for a Blade Mail, it appears. He's got a Ring of Basilisk, he's got his Crimson Guard. That is pretty perfect. Yeah, pretty good. We've talked about the Zeus build. Another Vanguard and a Blade Mail on the Bristleback. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. I think he should have gone for probably a mechanism, because really the problem isn't the Bristleback dying. The problem is the Spectre dying. The Spectre needs to get farm. The Zeus needs to get farm. And these, you know, these only help if the Bristleback gets hit. Like, if you're being hit, you know, then the enemy is screwing up. And if you're relying on the enemy screwing up, you're not doing it very good. So, the enemy's items are quite a bit better overall, I think. They've got a silencer with Orchid. Okay, he really wants to silence, and he's even building... What the hell is he building? 2 Staffs of Wizardry, 2 Null Talisman. He's building 2 Dagons. Is that it? Is that even the recipe for Dagon? Yeah, I don't know what he's building. I don't think this is the right item build. The Orchid is good, but I mean, he's silencer. He's already got silence. And I think, you know, a lot of other stuff could have been good, but this isn't too bad. It gives him attack speed. It gives him int. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. How much int has he stolen? He's stolen 30 int. As usual in these low-level games, there's tons of fighting. This isn't actually that bad. It's just about 2 kills a minute. It's still very high, but it's not that drastically high. He's actually not skipped. He's completely skipped Curse of the Silent, which I think is a mistake. That's a good spell. I think you should definitely max it out, or you should definitely get some points in it before level 16, which looks like what he's doing. But this is a very good build. This looks like Slash's Way, actually. But if it was Slash's Way, he would have a Shadow Blade. It's a good thing, though, he hasn't picked it up, because they've got 2 on the team already. The more Shadow Blades you get, the more, you know, the enemy will get out of getting dust and stuff. And even though they aren't in this case, none of them are. If they did, they would get pretty crushed by it. And someone like the Doom should maybe consider just picking up a Blink instead. Shadow Fiend can also get Blink. But the Shadow Fiend is going to be a pretty potent ganker now with a Crystallis and a Shadow Blade. But then they haven't really tanked up. The Doom's tanked up a bit. He's going for an Aghanims. But they haven't really tanked up that all that much, with the exception of the Centaur Warrunner. And it's going to be so hard for the Zeus to kill off the Centaur now that he's got all of these tank items, especially this one, 30% more. If we look at his HP, we can't actually right now, so let's just unpause. But yeah, the point being, you know, they've just... Ooh, I want to comment on something really quick. With regard to supporting, this Winter Wyvern has got a really competent, you know, item choices here. Looks like he's going for a amulet of courage, medallion of courage, not amulet of courage. I keep saying that. He's got an Urn of Shadows, got a soul ring. He's going for these small support-ish items, and I think that's really paying off for his team. He's got pretty good stats to boot, like 2, 5, 6, and at this pace in the game is pretty good. And he's, you know, he's gonna be doing a lot of good support stuff. One thing I don't like is he's filling up his inventory too fast. He doesn't have room for wards. Basically, he needs one item less, and then just carry wards. That would be the one thing I would change about what this Wyvern is building right now. So let's follow the Zeus around a bit more. He's gonna go to mid again. He can't really go this far forward to farm without an escape item. See, now the Centaur's up. I wanted to check just before. He's got 2k and his oh yeah, we have to unpause for this. He's got 2k life and his magic resistance is quite a lot. They do manage to get him down if they are 4, and you know, they got the Ancient Seal on, they got the Zeus damage, very good. I like the Zeus not using his ult there, it's also very good. Go, Spectre doing a bit of an escapee. I would have maybe used the Thunderbolt there on the Shadow Fiend, though it can be, you know, it just takes the closest target, so if you miss it with like if there's creeps there, you can be unlucky and just hit one of those instead. So they're just kind of clumping up, but not really fighting right now. They need the Bristleback or the Undying to kind of man up and go in. But they're kind of awkward initiators in that they provide no control. Like the Bristleback has no control on his own, which is, you know, one of the big lackings of the hero. So, you know, if they just run in, they're gonna get control. They're gonna probably die if their team doesn't commit, and it kind of dissuades low level players actually doing that. So there we go. Nice and easy. Didn't even waste the Doom. Very nice play from the Doom there. Again, the Zeus 2 alone gets caught out. Yeah. So definitely the takeaway so far for the Zeus will be pay more attention to where you are in relation to your team, because you need your team. It's better for you to be in position to assist your team than having to rely on your team to come to you, because you have so little tank.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Too far forward again.
Radiant's turret has been killed.
Double silenced. Alright. So now the silence is down, which is good. And if they have a chance at defending, it's now. They killed the Centaur, obviously. Shadow Fiend deciding to split push instead of push with the team might have been the difference there. Alright, checks for the Shadow Fiend there with the lightning bolt. You know, it's not gonna be there though. Like, they were too slow in going forward. That's another thing. If you had a blink, you can use it offensive. So I think blink would have been a good thing this game, especially if you're up against a Shadow Fiend who can, you know, chase but not really kill you if you can not really stun you. Maybe a Force Staff would have been better. It's hard to say. Yeah. So I think the Spectre, yeah, she's got her Diffusal Blade now. That'll make her at least somewhat useful. So now you can just throw out your ult, Zeus. You get... See, throwing out your ult a bit sooner would have been far more useful as, you know, then you would have gotten out rather than the silencer just getting out his stuff. Go. Nice and easy team wipe for them there. So as the Zeus there, you really just need to think, okay, they're doing Roshan, there's a good chance you might just bring someone low enough to actually die in there, and then just get it out and you're fighting right after. Because then it's out. Then you're not waiting for the silencer to give you permission. Actually, one thing I should mention is that with the silencer, you probably need a way to purge the silence. And that might mean BKB. Could have been a BKB first game, just to ensure that you can do something in the fights. There's also a fair amount of stuff to block with it, like the races, some of the Wyvern stuff, the silencer stuff. Just make sure, you know, if you're up against the silencer, you're getting a BKB to counter the silence. You need to throw out the BKB after the silence. Yeah, his team's just falling apart now. Not a lot I can do. Yeah. This looks like the end of the game. So I think basically the takeaway for the Zeus here is to be a little bit more on top of his ability with regard to spotting invisible stuff and minding his positioning a lot more. Like positioning errors were most of his preventable deaths this game. It is tough being up against the silencer. I think he could have itemized slightly better, like a 4-staff, just to, you know, when they throw out the silence, that you actually have a way to disengage is very important. Just because if you can't disengage, then you are definitely gonna die if you're silenced and you're Zeus. And I think that's pretty much the game. So yeah, just work on your positioning. Mind that you are not standing around alone, and you know, just being in a position where they can just kind of jump on you without getting much with regard to resistance. Pretty bad stats to end out with. We see the silencer having a ball of a game. Yeah, the silencer definitely had a good game, and the problem with the silencer is, of course, he gets so much int, and he can just deal so much damage during his silence that you, if he's just smart and targets down like the Zeus and the Skywrath, you guys are just gonna die. The Skywrath could actually also have built a BKB instead of the Aghanim Scepter, and I thought that would have been better, just because then he would be able to put out stuff during fights. Yeah. Yes. I think that's all I've got to say. Thank you for watching.